Good morning, real life. My name is Josh Munoz, and I actually want to be able to do a small group devotion with y'all, if y'all don't mind. And it's actually going to be on the importance of church attendance and just looking at a couple things in there. And I get at this time, we cannot currently meet in person, but we are still a church, whether we are at home or we are at Carmel or wherever we may be. And so I actually want to begin in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 24 through 25. It says, "And let us consider how we may spur on one another toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." Now, it mentions the day, and I want you to realize that this is referring to the time that Christ comes back. So we do not know when that day will be, but yet we are supposed to be in the Word, be with God, be with our church, and be ready for it. We do not know when the hour or the day may come, but we must be ready. And here it also says that some forsake the church. Many actually forsake the church. But I encourage you not to. Here it says not to forsake the church. We are to encourage one another, to be supports for one another. We are a family. Another thing I have is in Hebrews 4:12. But I actually want to preface this by saying, have you ever had, a preacher or a pastor feel like they're speaking directly to you on a Sunday morning? I've had that too, and it's a very painful feeling sometimes, but it's also a very relieving feeling. And here Hebrews 4:12 tells us why we get that feeling. "For the word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. It penetrates even to the dividing soul and spirit, joints and marrow. It judges the thoughts and attitudes of the heart." Here it's saying the word is alive. So with that, the word is going to speak to you. Yes, God is speaking through Freddie, but God is also speaking through the word. And Freddie is speaking the word to us so that we can know what God is trying to say. And I have also a little bit of statistics because, whenever we are listening to what God is saying, we need to be able to repeat it and remember it. And so that'll tell us to take notes as well. And the statistic for this would actually be telling us why we forget things quickly. Well, the U.S. Air Force said, we remember 10% of what we hear after 72 hours, 30% of what we read after 72 hours, 50% of what we read and hear after 72 hours, but 90% of what we read, hear, and do after 72 hours. So I would encourage you to take notes, to be able to study what Freddie is actually saying, be able to memorize it, because it is very important. As we know, the Word of God is alive and active. It can apply to you now, it can apply to you 10 years from now, and every moment in between. Now, one other thing that I want you to be able to take home, just one last point, is that our application should be done at home. Our notes that we must take or that we need to take to remember, we need to go back through them. Don't just write them and then flip the next page and never look back at it ever again. It's important that we go back to it. Again, the Word of God is alive and active. And so I encourage you as you go home is just read over what you had wrote and be able to go deeper into it. Find the context of it. Find other passages that relate to it. Be able to ask questions to Freddie or whoever may be doing it, as they would love to be able to help you. And I just encourage you to spend time in the Word, focusing on God and seeing what He's trying to say to you. I hope you have a great day, real life. I love you, and I'll see you later.